then? And did you examine the mobile phone? And did you make any calls?
Yeah, some of these questions might be repeated because obviously they was a bit hard of hearing. So she actually saw the dog tied up at the bench facing her as she come through the metal gate, and it was tied up with some yellow baling string, and there was a phone on the bench with a dog harness. She said it was a blue one, she thinks.
The coroner wanted to know, was the phone active? Was it working?
She replied, no. She picked the phone up but couldn't get it into it because it had a lock. But when it lit up, it showed Paul's family and his children.
So you recognise the picture of the people?
And she replied that she didn't know them, but Roger knew who it was, but we didn't know where they lived or anything.
Okay, so your husband recognised.
I've just said the name again, haven't I?
It's all right.
And she replied, yes, he recognised PA.
Yeah. So what did you do after that, please?
So she said that she picked the phone up to try and find out the owner of the phone, but couldn't get into it. So she put the dog harness back on the dog because she didn't know that anyone had gone missing at that point, and she thought she'd take it for a walk down allotment lane. To the garage where her friend worked to see if she could identify whose dog it was. Because she works facing the main road, there's always people walking past, so she thought that because of that, her friend might be able to recognise who it belonged to.
And did you find out who the dog belonged to? The coroner asked.
And then she replied that they got halfway down allotment lane. And bumped into AMF, that's PF's daughter-in-law. She was coming out the drive and she just come up to her and asked her if that's the dog. So she assumed that she already knew about what's going on.
And then the coroner's asking, okay, so run it past me again. Who came out and who said it's that dog?
And she replied, AMF, that's PF's daughter-in-law.
It's so repetitive because of there is some hearing difficulties in court. So the daughter-in-law. So what happened next, and what did you say to AMF?
She replied that she showed her the phone and the picture on the front, and AMF said she knows who that is, and she rang the school.
So Dr. Ridley says it. So I believe she says she knew who that is, and that's Nikki.
Oh yeah.
She's got children at the same school.
She replied that yes, because her children go to the same school as Nikki's.
And then Susan said that she spoke to someone at school and she got through. And then Dr. Ridley asked, "What happened then? Did you get a call back?"
Yeah. Then she replied that AMF was dealing with it. She wasn't sure whether she phoned PA, but she was on the phone to someone, and when she come off the phone, she turned around and said that she's struggling.
Okay, in your witness statement, what you say is that you showed AMF a picture on your phone, on the phone, and she says, "I know who that is. That's Nicola," said AMF, and then called the local school straight away, and so that they could contact her partner, who's PA. And she talked to Mrs. Green. "Who is Mrs. Green, please?"
And she replied that she didn't know. She's the secretary or the headmistress. She didn't know who this Mrs. Green was at the school.
And then after she spoke to the call, AMF, after you called the school rang AMF back to say that PA was on his way. Does that sound the right way it happened?
And she replied, yes, that sounds right.
Then it got to 10:30, and that's when I thought, she's, quite late now, more late than usual. So I tried ringing her phone, and there was no answer. I tried ringing her on WhatsApp, and again there was no answer. I tried the mobile again, and no answer. So I couldn't